How's it going, everybody? This is Captain Raiders. CeeLo's, excited for the opening day of week one of the NFL 25-26 season, right? I wanted to make a video on what I think the overall record is going to be and talk about the upcoming matchup with New England, right? Week one, right? Let's start off with that. We're traveling to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots in a 1 o'clock game where, historically speaking, the Raiders don't do good. However, both teams have new coaches, right? We have Pete Carroll, they have Rabel. Both teams have new offensive coordinators. We have Chip Kelly and they have McDaniels, right? We know how that paid off with us, but McDaniel is a better offensive coordinator than he is a head coach, right? I don't know who their defensive coordinator is, but we know that Rabel mostly likes to have control of the defense. He's a very good coach, and we saw what he did with the Titans, right? Um, their roster has improved. Drake May is going into his second season. A lot of experts expect him to take a big leap this year, right? So going into this game, I think that we're going to end up winning, and I think it's going to be a very close game. I think we're going to win because of our special teams. But let's talk about some things that worry me about this game, right? One is our cornerback depth. Our cornerback depth is not there, right? We have um, a very unproven secondary, and that's including safeties, corners, right? You have Stoke, who's getting a second chance, didn't do good in Green Bay. He was injured, didn't live up to the hype of being a high draft pick, right? We have Kyle Blue, and who's been around with other teams. We have Richardson, who's uh, uh, a rookie. We have Hall, who's okay at, but he's not. He is not somebody that I think is going to be around long, right? I think he's somebody for the season, but I think overall we need to get better in the secondary. Polamalu, I think might get better. He needs something. We have Smith backing him up. We have our secondary right now is our safeties Jeremy Shin, right? Uh those guys, right? Jeremy Shin might be the most productive person in this secondary, right? But after them, there's really nobody, right? So Eric Stokes needs to play good. Um, Darian Porter, he's really young. We got DeMarcus Richardson, who's another young corner, right? And then the other thing that scares me is the second level of this team, the linebackers and their tackling of the corners, right? We saw that in the preseason, tackling wasn't the greatest. We saw a lot of missed tackles, and it was a lot of things that just worries me, right? I think we have one of the best defensive line, right? We have Max Crosby, we have Malcolm Koonce, we have Tyree Wilson. We have what I would say, not great, not good, but solid defensive tackle team with Adam Butler and you know, Josh Lou, right? We got Thomas Booker, who's going to be the starter, right? So I think they're solid. I think overall this is going to be a very good team, right? But we have to see what they do, right? So the last thing that worries me is the offensive line, right? The lack of them playing together, the lack of chemistry is something that is going to scare me overall, right? I think that we need to see it together, see what they bring to the table. Um, this week one, and they're gonna have to work out some of that because they haven't played together long enough to build that chemistry that you need, right? Especially in the run game. If we're gonna help gently have a good season, we need to have the chemistry in the offensive line. But overall, those are the things that scare me for this game. Um, The the things that I see as key contributors to us winning the game is, let's start off with, I think we have the advantage of quarterback, right? Geno Smith is a better quarterback than what Drake May is right now. I think Geno Smith making the right decisions and not turning over the ball is going to help us win, right? Uh, our tight end room, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayers, Ian Thomas, is strong. That is a strong unit. That is our best unit on offense. I don't care what nobody says. They're better than the running back group. They're better than the receiving group. Those three guys are going to be productive, especially Michael Mayers and Brock Bowers. If we use them to how we're, if we use them as an advantage, right? Because it's hard to stop tight ends that could catch the ball, that could move around like Brock. I think that overall, we're just gonna be able to control the middle, be able to um, have the defense be honest and not be able to like overstock the box. They're gonna have to have either big safeties in there that could try to keep up to the speed of Brock Bowers. They're gonna, have to have somebody that could try to keep up with him, either a safety, a corner, and that and the running game is gonna give us the advantage because they're gonna have to take linebackers out the game. Uh, Robert Spinelli is with them now, and we know that he's not going to be able to cover Brock. All right. The next thing is special teams, right? We talked about this. I think special teams is probably one of the strongest suits that we have, right? With AJ Cole and Daniel Carterson, right? They're very strong. Doug Carson is very solid, and AJ Cole might be the best punter in the league. Field advantage is a big thing. If we keep pinning them deep, it's going to be good for us, right? Make them have to drive down the field to score. Give them, give us a field advantage, right? So when we stop them, then we have to go short to score or get enough into a range where Carson could kick it because he has the leg for it. Um, the last thing is coaching. I actually think that we have the advantage in coaching. Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and um, Graham, right? Patrick Graham. Those three coaches are going to give us the advantage in a lot of these games this year. They are very respected overall in the league, and they're very smart coaches. So they're going to have the team prepared. The team will be prepared for these games. Overall, I think that we end up winning. I think it's going to be closer than people think, but we end up winning. So again, I said this is going to be a two-part thing, right? I think overall our record for the season, it's going to be somewhere between 9-8 and 10-7. I have 10-7 right now, just before the season, right? So my record that I had picked, and I want to go over it real quick, right? Before the season started. So 10-7. Week one, like I said, we're gonna beat New England. We just talked about it. The we're gonna weeks 2 the Chargers are gonna come to our house and beat us. The Commanders are gonna beat us. That's week 3. Week 4, we're gonna beat the Bears. Week 5, we're gonna beat the Colts. Week 6 could go either way. I have us beating the Titans just because Cam Moore is still a young quarterback, but it could go either way, right? Because I think we could lose that game or win that game, right? I think we're gonna lose against the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, right? Then week 9 is the bye. So at the bye, I have us 4-3, which is a pretty good record, right? Then we're gonna come off the bye. We're gonna beat the Jacks. We're gonna lose to the Broncos in Denver. We're gonna beat the Cowboys. That's another game that could go either way. Could go for the Cowboys or not, right? I think we're really close in teams. I think we're a better team than the Cowboys, but overall, when we're talking about talent, we are pretty similar. The Browns, I think that's a win. I think that we're gonna finally beat the Chargers in LA, right? Because we have not won a game in that stadium. We pack it out. Our fans show up, but we have not won a game. So we need to win against the Chargers in LA. I think the next time we play the Broncos in our house, we're gonna beat them. And then we're going to lose to the Eagles. We're going to lose to the Texans. That's another game that could go either way. And then we're going to lose to the Giants, right? I think that's another game that could go either way. And then I think that we're finally going to get a win over the Chiefs in our stadium this year. The final game of the season, I think we beat the Chiefs, right? I think that I have us splitting in the division, one game apiece. I think overall we might see that across the board with this division, right? The AFC West is one of the toughest divisions in NFL. We have great coaching, we have great quarterback play. Denver has great defense. Um, we have solid defense in San Diego and Kansas City, but their offense are ridiculous, right? We know what Kansas City could do in offense. We know what San Diego could do in offense. And overall, this is a year where we're having San Diego's second year with Harbaugh. This is the third year with Peyton Manning for Denver. I'm Peyton Manning with Sean Payton, right, in Denver. So those teams are going to be greatly improved because now they've been in the system and they're starting to build the team that they want, right? I think that this is the year that Kansas City does not dominate, right? They've won the division 9 times. I think it might be 9 or 10 times already in a row, and I don't see them winning the division. I think that San Diego or Denver, depending on who takes the reins in this division, might win it. And I think we're a year away from winning the division. I think we still need pieces, right? We don't have the depth. So if people get hurt, which does happen in the season, we're gonna be hurt, right? So this team is very, very glued together, right? Like we're using masking tape to like plug some things here and there, right? Amari Cooper coming to help us in the receiving room helps out, but it doesn't make the difference, right? I think that the way Spike Tech is going to build this, and it's going to be through the draft, is the smart way of doing it, right? So I think we're like a year away from actually making the playoffs. And that's good. I'm not in a rush. I want them to build it the right way. I want them to see who works, what groups work here, who is going to stay and who's not. Get the people out if they're not going to be here in the long run. If they're not in the long plan to make us win, they need to go. I think that, you know, they don't want to call it a rebuild, but it is a rebuild. Right? We're rebuilding this team in the image of Pete Carroll. And I think it's a good thing. And I think Spike Tech being the general manager and being able to draft the people he is, he's a very good draft guy. So we see the young guys that he drafted contribute early, right? And he stacks a couple class, right? That's going to be big for us. And that's what we haven't had, right? We need to start stacking good draft class because you build through the draft, right? You take advantage of the young contracts that you have and you're able to like develop players. That's what makes teams great. And that's what we've been missing. So guys, overall, I'm excited for this season. 10-7, 9-8, somewhere around there is where we're gonna be. I think we missed the playoffs, but I think that we are gonna be solid. And I think moving forward, we're gonna be a very consistently good team, right? We're always gonna be battling to get to the playoffs or be in the playoffs. But what I want to do is build a contender. I don't want to just make the playoffs. I want to be able to go into the playoffs and win the games. So build through the draft is the way to go. These are my thoughts. I think we beat New England. I think we go 10-7. So guys, leave me your thoughts. Did you like this video? If you didn't like the video, hit dislike. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, right? Until the next time, guys, peace out.